Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tarp Buddy. Today I'll be demonstrating how you can take the Tarp Buddy device and attach it to the end of a rubber snubber of whatever length you choose to use. The purpose of that is so you can eliminate one of the S-hooks and then just affix this onto the end of the rubber snubber like so with a 1/4-inch bolt, and then that way you can locate it anywhere you want on a canvas, a tarp, plastic sheeting, whatever you're going to use it on, and then you can go ahead and use your S-hook on the other end to hook onto wherever you need to. If you're covering a pool or boat trailer or snowmobile cover, you know, anything like that. It helps to assure that you're going to keep it secured tightly and firmly to whatever type of cover you're going to be using on this here end, with no chance of like an S-hook trying to pop out of a hole or ripping a grommet loose or anything like that on a tarp. This here works excellent for doing things like that, creating any kind of covers. So we'll go through that right now and show you exactly what you need for tools and parts, and let's get started. I would like to mention quickly to always inspect your rubber snubbers before using them. That goes for bungees or anything. Always inspect them. Make sure there's no cracking, no holes or anything, because they do take a beating when they're out in the sun and weather and everything like that. So if you start getting any kind of cracking on a rubber snubber or anything, throw it away and get a new one. That $1 or $2 that it costs for a new rubber snubber is not worth losing an eye or getting injured or going to a doctor. A doctor bill is going to cost a lot more than a couple of dollars. So just make sure you inspect them before you even do anything like what we're showing here to attach the Tarp Buddy. But even if you're not doing that, inspect them thoroughly before using them, even in the old traditional way and so forth with the S-hooks and things like that. You just don't want to risk an injury, and really you should always be wearing some kind of an eye protection, safety glasses when attaching these things, because you just never know. Something could come unhooked. Even if the rubber snubber does not break or anything, it could slip off whatever you're hooking on and come back and get you in the eye and whatnot. So use extreme caution and proper safety gear and so forth when you're dealing with rubber snubbers or bungees or anything of the sort. So thank you. You're going to need a rubber snubber of whatever length you want to use, a Tarp Buddy device, a 1/4-inch bolt, and in today's demonstration we're using one that is 1 3/4 inches in length. Depending on the type of rubber snubber you're using, because the ends may be a different thickness, is going to determine the length of the bolt that you may need to use here. So you know, for ours with this thick square hub on the end here, it requires about 1 3/4 inches. So if you have a rubber snubber that's a little bit thinner, you're going to need a bolt that's maybe a little bit shorter, or if it's thicker, you need one a little bit longer. So, but for today's demonstration, it's 1 3/4 inches in length, 1/4-inch diameter. We have a self-locking nut. It's got the little nylon locking washer in there, and then 2 flat washers. The flat washers don't have to be anything extravagant, just as long as they fit inside the recessed hole of the Tarp Buddy, and also to provide enough surface area so it's not allowing the head to try and draw through when you're tightening things down to pull into the hole of the rubber snubber. And then you'll need a 7/16 inch wrench and a 7/16 socket. So we'll take the S-hook off of one end, throw that aside, place a washer on the 1/4-inch bolt, and push the 1/4-inch bolt through the hole of the rubber snubber. We'll slide the Tarp Buddy onto the bolt, onto the hub side. We'll drop the other washer down onto the bolt in the countersunk hole, and then take our lock nut. We'll get that started in there. And we're going to tighten that down. tighten it down to where the bolt is just flush with the top of the nut there. And then this here is still keeping it about 1/8 of an inch. The nut and bolt is about 1/8 of an inch below the top surface of the tarp buddy there, so that way it's not protruding up there to where it's going to rub a hole into whatever material you're going to be attaching onto the tarp buddy, or whether it's a tarp, canvas, plastic sheet, and whatever you're going to be doing. So that's as easy as it gets. And now that allows you to anchor it tight onto a tarp or canvas sheet or plastic or anything by using a zip tie, and it's a secured anchor. We take our tarp, place our tarp buddy. Now we can place it anywhere we want. We want it out here by the edge. Here I'm using a releasable zip tie just for demonstration here. We place it on there, and now it's attached. We got our floating point there permanently attached to the tarp with our S-hook on the other end of the rubber snubber to hook onto whatever we want. Because of the strength and the ability that the tarp buddy provides, now you can really pull that down nice and tight to make sure it's not flopping around in the wind and so forth, and it's not going to release on you. It's not going to rip out or anything like the grommets would. So now if, for instance, the tarp is bigger than what we need to be using, simply just fold the excess in underneath, however much you have to do. Just fold it in underneath so it's not hanging out, flopping out in the wind. Place your tarp buddy in underneath where you need it, and secure it on with your zip tie. And now it's firmly secured, allowing you to hook the other end to wherever you need it. Works great for pool covers or for snowmobile covers, ATV covers, things like that, boat covers. So, or if you decide to go ahead and you use the tarp for one thing and now you need to use it for something else, as you can see, it didn't damage the tarp or anything like that. Now maybe you want to use the tarp or cover or something to cover something else. Well, now you can go ahead and move your anchor in another location where you may need it. So you can use the more permanent style zip ties if you want. Secure it on there. Cut the excess off. And now you got your anchor point. That's affixed solid to your tarp or canvas, whatever you're going to be using it on. When it comes time to remove the more permanent style zip ties, it's best not to come in from the side, because if you slip accidentally for when you go to cut that zip tie off, because you could cut the tarp here or whatever you're using, your canvas or anything like that, or over on this side. So to avoid that, you can come straight onto that knuckle there, the locking mechanism, and it snips. Just split that lock, and it comes right off. So that way you're not risking damaging or putting a hole in your sheeting. And now you can go ahead and locate it wherever else you need to locate it, or put it on another tarp or canvas or anything like that. As we've demonstrated in other videos, you can also use the tarp buddy on the plastic sheet, and that goes the same thing with this here style of system. Place it on the sheeting. Draw it in, and now you just created an anchor with your rubber snubber on your plastic sheet. Like we said before, this style is the releasable zip tie. Take it off, and as you can see where it was attached, but it didn't put no hole with me yanking on it or anything like that, or tightening it up with the zip tie. It did not damage it. So we can go ahead and use that same sheet now if we want. If we want to, let's say we need it over here. That wasn't quite the right location. We need it over in this here spot now. And now it's attached there. As easy as that. Once again, thank you for watching Tarp Buddy. Hopefully this here provides a really good use for a lot of you out there, and other ideas on how the Tarp Buddy can be used. Along with all the other ideas that we're trying to give out there to people, so you can have the best use and the most uses out of the Tarp Buddy devices. Again, we thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.